what foods contain the most? What would you think? Just like microplastics, it's bottled water. Bottled water has the most microplastics and has much higher levels of PFAS.
Right.
And so we got to cut out the bottled water. Number two, butter.
Plastic. Bottled water.
Bottled water and plastic.
Hello, I'm Mary Colbert. Welcome to Dr. Colbert's Divine Health broadcast. We are continuing on topic of things that have to do with your health, things that are affecting your health that you don't even know about. But you know what? Knowledge is power. And God wants you to know about these things to empower you, because truly what you don't know may be killing you. And God knows that. He really wants us to know so we can make good choices.
Right.
And it is about choices. It is about making the right choices and the bad choices. And this topic today...
Well, it's real important because just like God's word says in Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Back when I wrote the book Toxic Relief over 20 years ago, we didn't have the knowledge we have now.
It's growing. You know, the Bible even talks about knowledge increasing.
Oh, Mary, knowledge is increasing at exponential speed with AI. They're predicting knowledge will double about every 20 minutes.
Right.
And we had a knowledge doubling curve back before 1900. Knowledge would double every 100 years. After World War II, knowledge would double every 25 years. But they're anticipating knowledge to double every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So you have to be led by the Spirit. But what we're talking about today is toxic relief, how to get rid of these toxins that most people know nothing about, but it's affecting your health.
And I just want to encourage you, don't put your head in the sand and say, no, I don't want to know, I don't want to know. That doesn't make it go away.
It doesn't. Because it's affecting your children, it's affecting your health. So it's really important that we at least know about these and know what to do. You're free to eat or drink whatever you want. But if you're going to eat these, you want to detoxify your body. And there's simple things we can do to detoxify.
I love that word, simplify.
Yeah, we're going to simplify the whole thing for you. But we're talking about forever chemicals. Now you're saying, forever chemicals, what are these? These are chemicals that are designed to last for years. On average, they last in the human body between 2 and 9 years, and sometimes longer.
Wow.
The actual name for them is perfluoroalkyl substances and polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAS. So I just call them forever chemicals because the manufacturer is meant to be there forever. But they were developed back around 1946. And they developed Teflon. You remember Teflon-coated pans and all?
Right.
Well, Teflon was the first, but it was actually banned around 2014 because of the harmful effects of Teflon. But it's one of the many 15,000 forever chemicals in our environment, and we're exposed to them. The main ways we're exposed is, again, through bottled water. We're not only getting microplastics, but we're getting forever chemicals that take 2 to 9 years to rid our bodies of these chemicals.
You know, what happened is, I think the manufacturers and people, they develop these products with good intentions. Nobody intentionally is trying to harm. I don't believe that. I don't believe anybody's intentionally trying to harm us. But what wasn't taken into effect is the heating up of these chemicals.
Exactly right.
And what happens when it heats up, it's released, like Teflon. Teflon as a surface looks great, but it heats up and it leaches into the food. Same with mercury in your mouth.
Right.
You know, people, dentists, they came up with mercury to stabilize the silver, to help save your teeth. Well, what they didn't take into account is you drinking hot things and causing the mercury vapors to be heated up.
And when you chew, it releases mercury.
Releases the mercury into your body. Exactly. And so now you have Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and dementia and all kinds of neurological issues going on that they didn't have years and years ago. But it was... so that's what's happening. So it's important that you take the time to learn this and to find out about it, because you'll become I really believe, Don, the Lord wants us to live to be 120.
He does, but Mary, we're shortening our lives and the quality of our lives and our children's lives because we're being exposed to this and we're not aware and we're not detoxifying our bodies appropriately.
Right.
So how do we get these? Why are they there? Well, listen, they're used in food packaging mainly, and they prevent food from sticking. They're on this special kind of paper that they put the French fries in, the hamburgers in, the wrappers. It's grease-resistant wrappers. And pizza is in boxes that are grease-resistant, and these have these forever chemicals in them. They're in cupcake liners, they're in parchment paper, and they're in cheese slices. Processed foods have them. So what they do, they keep the food from sticking. They also are waterproofing. So they're used in garments like raincoats and spandex and waterproof underwear and waterproof shirts and stain-resistant shirts and menstrual underwear that women use. They're loaded. But fortunately, when you use garments, you don't absorb them near as much as when you ingest them. But it's also in firefighting foam. It's in cleaning products, like when you use fabric cleaners, carpet cleaners. They're loaded with these forever chemicals. Waxes and polishes for floors, furniture polish, car polish. When you use that and you're putting your wax on, you're getting forever chemicals in your body. It's going right through your skin.
So you should wear rubber gloves?
You should wear gloves, absolutely.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that because that's really...
With any kind of cleaners,
right.
You need to wear
exactly.
your...
Or you're getting these forever chemicals on you. As well as paints and varnishes and sealants are loaded with these. It's even present in some shampoos. That's why make sure your shampoo has PFAS free, which is forever chemical free in them. And it's also found in some cosmetics. Cosmetics have them too, so just make sure you get organic. Now, if it's organic, it's usually fine. They don't generally have this. But if it's not, look for PFAS free. Now, you say, well, what's the...
Say that again.
PFAS free.
Free, okay.
Free. Now, well, what are these associated? What problems are associated? Number one, it leads to high cholesterol levels. Do you know that now 59% of our population has high cholesterol? And I believe one of the main reasons is we're exposed to these forever chemicals. And forever chemicals will elevate the cholesterol.
Wow.
So will saturated fats, butter and cheese and pizza and, a lot of red meat and sausage and bacon and all that. But also these forever chemicals raise your cholesterol, as well as childhood obesity. Nearly 20% of children are obese or overweight. And again, we're just using a ton of these. They're eating fast foods. And those fast food, if you eat fast food, get them out of those wrappers ASAP. Don't live in those wrappers because it's literally putting forever chemicals in your food.
Leaching into it.
Exactly. And then it leads to decreased fertility in men and women, thyroid disease in men and women, a higher risk of kidney disease, testicular cancer, prostate cancer, and thyroid cancer, liver damage, early puberty, developmental delay in children, decreased immune function, and lower kidney function. So these have all kinds of potential problems. Now, what foods contain the most? What would you think? Just like microplastics, it's bottled water. Bottled water has the most microplastics and has much higher levels of PFAS.
Right.
And so we got to cut out the bottled water. Number two, butter.
Plastic. Bottled water
and plastic, correct.
To clarify.
Butter contains a lot because butter contains that grease-proof food wrapping. When you peel the paper back off butter, that contains PFAS or forever chemicals, and they leach into the butter.
Wow.
So you need to, and almost all butter's in some kind of plastic container, or it's got that grease-proof paper in it. Other foods that include the processed meat, and there's our processed meat again, contains microplastics and forever chemicals. Hot dogs especially are high, but hot dogs are any processed meat, as well as tea. Now, tea contains a lot of these forever chemicals. Mainly the tea bags are treated with chemicals containing PFAS. It's just it's industry standard to spray those tea bags with this PFAS. So people who drink a lot of tea, even though tea is healthy, usually contains the PFAS. And so you need to make sure that you have either organic tea or PFAS-free tea bags. Or you can get a stainless steel tea strainer.
Yeah.
And that's what I'll sometimes use.
Wow.
Now, other foods that contain it are going to be root crops like carrots, turnips, beets, and radishes, because it makes sense. When you have water that's spread from rivers and streams that's irrigated, it contains these powerful forever chemicals, and they go into the root system. And so that's why they're especially in the root vegetables, but also they're found in the other veggies, including kale and collard greens and cabbage. Leafy greens contain them. Why? Because it's the water again. The water they irrigate these fields with generally have these forever chemicals in them. So you say, but those are good for you. Well, I know they're generally good for you, but if you eat excessive amounts that are not organic, you're going to get a lot of these forever chemicals. That's why we need to know what to do to minimize intake of these. And lots of kale, lots of cabbage, lots of collard greens are known to have more forever chemicals in them.
Okay. You got to get to telling us.
I'm going to in just a minute. Let me just go through these real quick. Okay. There's just a few more. Eggs. Higher concentration of eggs. Why? Because chickens are fed processed corn. They drink the water that contains the forever chemicals. Coffee can have more, so get organic coffee. Tea, get more organic tea, and you have less of these, and as well as packaged foods that we talked about, like we talked about butter, but also ice cream, and a single cup coffee, like a paper cup coffee. They have these forever chemicals that are sprayed on it so that it's waterproof and the cup doesn't get all soggy. So that's why single cup coffees, cups will have that in it. So you want glass cup. Glass is the key. Now, how do we get rid of these, Mary? What do you think?
Okay, finally. Let's get to some good news.
Well, okay. First of all, we want to avoid non-stick pots and pans. You want to use stainless steel, yes, or glass or cast iron, but get rid of your non-stick. It says on the advertising when you get it is PFOA free. PFOA was an earlier forever chemical. Now everything's PFOA free, but many of these newer forever chemicals are in these non-stick pans, and they contain, there's 15,000 of these forever chemicals, guys.
Oh.
So we've got to reduce exposure, so do not get these non-stick pots and pans. Get rid of those. You say, but they're real expensive. Well, so is the health problems created by these forever chemicals. We've got to get rid of those. That's number one. And switch to the stainless steel, the glass, and the cast iron. Now, the key is reduce exposure. Now, there's currently no known medical treatment to remove forever chemicals. There's none. So reduction in exposure is the key. That is the main.
Okay, but fasting?
Well, we're going to talk about it, but you got to first reduce your exposure. Quit drinking tap water and plastic bottled water and start drinking reverse osmosis water. This is really low in these forever chemicals, or Mountain Valley spring water is good, or you can get some other type filter, but make sure that it's minuscule amounts of these forever chemicals or PFAS chemicals in the water. Extremely important when you choose a water filter. Now, reverse osmosis is my favorite. And then what you want to do is you want to do some detox measures. These are actually excreted mainly through the liver and through the kidneys and through the colon. So first of all, you want to support the liver. How do we support the liver? Well, the glutathione doesn't get rid of these forever chemicals, but it prevents oxidation and free radical reactions in the liver. So I still take the glutathione. You can still take the NAC, just like with the microplastics, 500 milligrams twice a day, and still take the vitamin C, 500 to 1,000 milligrams twice a day. But realize when you take in these microplastics, it's important to take fiber in. Fiber will help bind the plastics and increase transit time through the colon.
Oh, that's
so, and do it twice. That's why I do it twice a day. You wonder why I'm in there doing this twice a day.
Yeah.
And so we have our fiber zone, which is berry or lemon lime.
Right.
And so I take a heaping teaspoon in the morning
Gotcha.
and 4 to 8 ounces cold water, and then I do it in the evening after dinner.
Right.
And then I wait an hour or two and take my supplements before I go to bed. But that's why I do that, because it binds a lot of these toxins, including these powerful forever chemicals, and increases bowel transit time. So they're not laying against the line of the colon, so they're less likely to be absorbed. So that's really important. And then you want to keep the kidneys in the game. Keep the kidneys in the game so it's flushing these out. You want to take in adequate, good, clean, pure water that do not have forever chemicals in them. So get a reverse osmosis filter. Put it in a glass bottle. Put it in a stainless steel container and drink it throughout the day. Drink at least 8 8-ounce glasses during the day. A lot of people are trying to detox with saunas and infrared sauna. Sauna does not detox these chemicals out. They do not detox through the sweat. They have,
Wow.
that's why if you're trying to sweat them out, it's not going to work. You've got to support the liver. You got through the detox measures we mentioned. You got to support the kidneys through drinking lots of water, and then you got to support the colon to bind and increase colon transit time or decrease colon transit time, so it speeds the removal of these chemicals through the body.
Okay, now you mentioned that about saunas and that sort of thing, steam rooms, that sort.
No, that's good. Those are good. Yes, those are good for
reason.
microplastics and for chemicals and other toxins, but for forever chemicals, they're ineffective.
So you recommend to do both, though?
Yes, I would. I would do both, and saunas are good.
doing
Infrared saunas are good, but it doesn't get rid of them to the degree it doesn't. It doesn't get rid of them like it does microplastics. It does, but it doesn't get rid of these
I understand.
these forever chemicals.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so real simple. You want to drink 8-ounce glasses of pure water a day. Take your fiber and reduce exposure. Now, remember, anything labeled water resistant, grease resistant, stain resistant, including curtains, clothing, upholstery, carpets, has been coated with PFAS or forever chemicals. So, but the biggest thing are these again, the bottled water, that's plastic, the nonstick cookware, and then all of these packaging that contain grease-resistant papers. And like cupcakes. Cupcakes are put in this grease-resistant paper, parchment paper. When you use that kind of paper, those are forever chemicals, Mary. And so we want
Okay, so paper in itself, I mean, just paper, if you use just the plain paper without the chemicals on it, that's okay?
Yeah, you can without, but like a single serve coffee cup that's paper, it has this
lining
a lining in it that makes it water resistant.
Paper cups.
Yeah, paper cups that are for coffee.
Right.
For coffee, like you go
But
to.
you don't like those paper cups.
Not at all.
Not anymore.
No,
You used
take
to
your own.
recommend them.
Take your own glass mug in there, and have it put in there.
I
If you,
get you.
so
I know you don't like styrofoam. Styrofoam is the worst.
But these forever
Worst.
chemicals, Mary, we gotta reduce our exposure to them, and the way to do it is, number one, recognize the main way we take them in through
Okay, so I'm
the
just
foods and water.
I'm just trying to put into order in my thoughts here. You go to these coffee shops,
Right.
and they have their coffee cups that they
Right.
bring out in paper.
Now they may have some that are free of forever chemicals, PFAS free.
Ask them.
You have to ask them, yes, because again, this is something new, and more are switching over. So, or you can bring your own coffee cup there.
I can tell you these places that are big, organic, and nature, and let's go back to the 1400s and live, no electricity, no gas. They'll be doing.
There's more and more that are starting to do it too.
Okay.
And so if they have them now, just a lot of people aren't using them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is good information. There's things that you can do. He's trying to give you real answers to help support your health. That's the whole point of this show, is to find out things that you can do. And everything that you've talked about is doable.
Yes, it is.
It really is doable. It's not impossible. Is it totally convenient? No, it's not convenient.
It's not, but we have to be aware of this. These
But
chemicals.
your health is the most important thing. There was one thing Don used to say, and we've seen, multimillionaires as patients that come in to see him, billionaires that come in as patients, and they have spent their whole life, focusing on other things to get money, only to lose their health. And then they go and take all the money they've had to get their health back. So you don't have to do that. You can live healthy. You can live healthy, and they're making the right choices. And Don, I'm just really proud that you have taken the time to do this, because so few doctors are taking the time and the money and the resources to do it. And I just think it's amazing that you're
But again,
able to do this.
our greatest wealth is our health.
Yes.
And so it's so important to focus in on your health, make these few little changes, start doing it now, and first start with just good, clean drinking water.
It's a good beginning. It's a good word. God bless you.